Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Marzolo, and the field that I have chosen to research on is software engineering, which I think is a pretty good fit for me because I've always enjoyed working with computers, and I'm a very logical thinker, and a lot of programming is thinking very logically to solve equations, and I just think the field just suits me very well. The research hypothesis that I'm working with right now is that I think the most challenging part of working in this field would be working with other people to face more and more difficult challenges. Um, and I say more and more difficult challenges because technology is constantly advancing, constantly improving. There are several innovations um, almost per year. Um, And as technology grows, the challenges are going to get a lot more. The problems that we need to solve are going to get more and more difficult as we progress. What benefits that made me select this field? My dad actually is in this field, so I know I have a pretty good insight in what it is. He gets holidays off and he gets paid pretty well, so I'd be looking forward to those for sure. Um, I guess the biggest challenges that I anticipate would be keeping up with technological advancements, and also software, and also working with new software, um, like every 5 years. Because I know with Ford in particular, and I know this from talking to my dad, because he he talks about his job with me every so often. He has to pretty much learn a new programming language almost like every 5 years because Ford wants them to use Visual Basic for this, and then instead they wanted to use um, this new technique called agile programming, which is where you like build up some software, a little bit of software, then you show it to your customer, then you build on it a little bit more, and then you show it to your customer, and you just keep going back and forth like that, which is supposed to um, make the program more suited for the customer's needs so that and also the customer can see the progress that's being made on their product. Um, Another challenge that I anticipate is that it might be a little bit difficult to advance because software engineering is a very big field. There's a lot of people going into working with computers and all that, so I'd have to compete with a lot of people. Um, and another challenge I think would be just working with a team, making sure everybody's on the same page. Just like any other job. Communicating with everybody, just making sure that everything's getting done the way that it needs to be done. Uh, Moving on to the annotated bibliography. Um, I actually got done with it like 5 minutes ago, but the hardest part about it was actually finding the reports that was most interesting to me, um, and also finding sources that weren't way outdated. Like I found stuff from 1997, 1994, I think, but I wanted to have reports that were done at the very latest 2014. But most of what I found, there wasn't very many back in the 90s, but most of what I found was actually um, like around the 2008 era. But there were a few that came out just last year that I was able to read up on and work with those. Um, the key terms that I found worked the best for me would be software developing services. That's where I found like 4 out of my 5 reports that I use for my annotated bibliography. And the database that I found to be most helpful is the academic one file. That's where I found all of my sources actually is with that one database. Uh, so far, I found that the hardest challenge with the challenge report project is actually um, finding topics that or finding reports that actually relate to the challenges that I'm anticipating, and also finding reports that come up with new challenges that I hadn't thought of before. Um, because a lot of what I'm finding is, you know, this company came up with this new product last year, and this company did this last year. It's more news that I'm finding than actual like this is what's going on in the workplace. So that's probably that's probably the hardest challenge that I'm facing right now with this report. Thank you for watching the video, guys, and you have a great night.